it's like it's
We should be
so
live again.
okay. I'll finish the thought later. But
Sorry
yeah,
about that, folks. Computer blue screened.
I feel that one actually.
Alright, come on now. Elgato capture card. You're not
But yeah,
normally like
Jules,
this.
don't worry, you're not alone on that.
Oh, cool. We got raided. Right when we got back. I'm glad I'm glad that they're able to see this beautiful content of me trying to fix my capture card. Well, I'm gonna unplug and replug the capture card again, and hopefully this doesn't cause it to blue screen again. It'd be nice.
Friendship ended with Elgato.
Now, is my best friend, because what else is there?
I have the knockoff one.
There
The
are a few
knockoff
other
Elgato.
options for sure. Hey, look at that. We actually have it. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Let's just get all the windows back up.
Capture cards like break time.
It was getting sleepy.
Captions are back on. I think that's about everything.
Discord stream.
Yep, we'll get that back up in a second. I haven't actually full screened that. There we go. So now but I was gonna... First thing I was gonna do was talk about movement with the sloshing machine. Okay. So, when you're in an engagement with the sloshing machine, first of all, you can definitely do things like jump shots. Because notice, oh shoot, I need to get the Discord stream up. Sorry.
You.
Okay, and we go to here, and then we go to here, and then we go to here. Okay. So, you can see my lobby here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, first of all, one thing to know about the sloshing machine is that when you jump, it does not affect your accuracy in the slightest. You can see the 4 lines around the reticle. On other weapons, those jump way out whenever I jump with them. So, like, I try this on a splatter shot. You can see those 4 lines. They actually get way wider, and the aim is way worse when you're jumping than when you're on the ground. But the sloshing machine will always go exactly where you aim it. There's no shot deviation at all. So you don't have any obligation to stay on the ground.
I said I have built-in RNG because I am not very accurate.
Well, you do have a big hitbox to help you make up for that a little bit. But working on hitting those directs in the training room in between matches is always going to be useful. But in combat, what you want to get used to doing is moving around and never taking more than 2 shots from the same spot. So sometimes I'm jumping a couple times, sometimes I'm stopping and swimming and then moving someplace else. Sometimes I'm dropping to swim and moving forward to stay close to them. But whatever it is, I'm always moving in between shots. And I'm making sure that, you know, while I'm still working on keeping my aim together while I'm in here, what's also important is to be getting into the habit of any fight that you're in, you're not just going to go like this. Because that is going to... That is going to keep you in place for too long and deplete your ink tank really quickly and make it too easy to cut you off. If you need to, you can just do something like this. And that's a really good kind of panic option, because jumping will still happen regardless of whether your feet are painted the right color. So you can keep moving that way and keep firing to keep them away from you. And that's enough to beat a lot of weapons in the game, just kind of backing up and doing this as they come at you. So that's a decent option if you're scared, to get in the habit of doing something like this. And that way you'll keep yourself a lot safer than if you're staying still, basically, which is what this is.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You need a new panic button besides point and shoot. ZR.
And you can also do things like, you know, squid roll into your sloshes if you want to get fancy with it. Something to maybe throw people off, because you can still, you know, fire a shot at about the same rate from doing that. But that's one thing. Another thing is when you're further away from someone than you can hit them from, just get a fizzy bomb out there, and then maybe you use that to engage, or maybe you just throw a bunch of those and throw one of those out to, you know, because if you hit 2 hits of this and then a direct, or sorry, if you hit 2 hits of a fizzy, I keep hitting too many, the wrong number of them. So if you hit 2 hits, oh my goodness. If you hit 2 hits, an indirect will combo, and if you hit one hit of the fizzy, then a direct will combo to splat them. So there's 2, and there's the indirect. So throwing fizzies is great for controlling space, but also, like, follow up on that and see if there isn't more you can get from those fizzies. And that's a way that you can, like, start to poke someone from further in, but then move your way into engage, instead of having to be at range to hit them the entire time that you're trying to hit them. You can be like, I'm scared of you right now, but I know my team is coming in the next 2 seconds, so I'm going to throw this. And then I'm going to do that, and then I'm just going to run away. And that sort of thing can also be a way to kind of poke into the enemy team without exposing yourselves to them the whole time. In terms of painting, if you're gonna paint, you want to constantly be moving to new turf to paint. And notice how much that paints. Like, that's probably about as much as, like, 3 or 4 sloshes put together. And that's all from you know, that much of your ink tank. You still have enough to be able to throw plenty of sloshes from there. And as soon as you throw this, you can just dip. You can just get out of there. You don't have to be there anymore.
Fizzy and dip.
What's really good to do is to find choke points, find places where it's difficult for the enemy team to get around the fizzy bomb, and keep that choke point in between you and the enemy team, and keep the fizzy bombs there. Like, if I'm one of these moving dummies, how do I get to this player? What am I supposed to do about that? That's something where, yeah, exactly. So what you want to do when you're on defense is find those kinds of positions and make a little bit of a wall for yourself to make it more difficult for them to approach you. Because if they can flank you, if they can get around freely, if you're taking open sight lines like this one, your one fizzy bomb isn't going to cover everything. And that's when you're in a little bit more danger, and you kind of need to position and aim more carefully to get a good outcome from that. So hopefully that gives you a lot more ideas. Those will not come supernaturally right away. Those are things you will need to practice. But that's what this lobby is for. It is for practicing so that the thing that's in your fingers that you've been working on, that's in your muscle memory, is what you're going to do in the game that you're right about to play. Oh shoot, I need to fix the camera because it's going to be doing this dumb thing where sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not. There. Okay, that's fixed. All right, let's go back to the VOD, which, I said the VOD. The VOD. Okay, it's big again. 1 second, we'll fix its bigness.
Big VOD.
Okay. The dad bod VOD, if you will. Alrighty. So this is the beginning of the match, which is not what we're trying to look at. We might be too far ahead, actually. Okay. So we come over here, we're marked. Stringer is firing up here, finds our teammate. Don't know whether that was aimed at you or whether it was aimed at them, but it gets the teammate regardless.
Shame. I can't watch.
And then from here, what I would probably suggest is you probably just can't get to the tower because this guy's in the way, right? This guy is creating a zone where if you get close enough to hit the tower, this guy's shooting at you before you can get to the tower in time. So the thing that you need to focus on is the most immediate threat to you, and specifically the threat to you being able to play the objective. Well, that's this guy right now. So what I would be doing is probably backing away from the ledge so that this guy can't, like, just laser me from here. And I'd throw a fizzy bomb in this direction, and that'll force him out to either here or here. Once he's away, now I can engage on the tower for a second or two and potentially get something done there. You do hit a direct, which makes it very close. Like, you almost managed to get that guy, but once we miss one more shot, they have enough time to clean us up. Whereas you wouldn't have been hit at all if you just stayed up there and thrown a fizzy bomb. All right. So your roller is able to get up on the tower and say, "Enough of this!" And they roll over the player and get them out of there. These are a lot of shots that you're firing that are just out of range, and they're landing in the same rough place that your previous shots have landed. So this is giving your position away. It's not painting an awful lot, so you're not going to get special that much faster for doing this, and it's not hitting anyone. So you're not going to get any value out of doing so, and you're going to give up time and space that you don't need to be giving up. So if you're out of range, you want to either be throwing a fizzy bomb or repositioning. Another thing I'm noticing is that because you're not taking a second and like moving and repositioning, a lot of the time you're firing multiple shots in the same spot where you already missed. So instead of like taking a little bit of extra time, because moving between shots does take slightly longer than just standing still and tapping the ZR button repeatedly. But that extra time here is actually a good thing, because it gives you more time to get your aim on. Like you're putting yourself in a position where you need to aim the next shot before you're ready to aim the next shot, before you've actually got your reticle where you want it to be. Whereas if you move a little bit, that gives you an opportunity, a small window to get it reset a little bit, maybe find another angle too, and to actually be hitting by the time you press ZR again. There we go. We do eventually get them there. Large hitbox go burr. Nice. That was a good predictive slosh out there, because you didn't see that player was climbing up the wall, but you figured they're probably going to go there, and putting a shot out there, even if they decide to play it safe and don't go, now they're just stuck behind the wall of the tower like, okay, well, what do I do now? There are currently 3 people on the tower, which is pretty unnecessary. Right now, what you want to be doing is moving out onto the map and taking control of more space. Like, noises up on the top left, They've got the right idea here. They want to be in front of the tower, clearing space for the tower to move through. And if you can be up there supporting noises, since you've got people already, covering the tower, that's a better place to be because you're controlling more of the map, keeping them further back. The tower is going to be able to move further because you're taking control of more of the map before you actually run into any resistance. Okay, so it looks like the target for the Booyah Bomb is the left side there. Nice, you actually get someone with that. I was a little worried that throwing it here, the player would be able to just back away over here from your teammate and nothing more was going to come of it, but that actually works out. One nice thing to do with Booyah Bombs is to put yourself in a relatively central location so that if the one target that you're looking at suddenly, in the 3 seconds it takes to charge it or whatever it is, if they end up not being available as a target anymore, you might have another angle where you can see somebody else at, and maybe you shift your aim to them in the meantime. From the angle that you took, you couldn't really target the right side that effectively. You maybe could have thrown it at the wall and gotten it to move through the wall if you thought someone was on the enemy top right side. But from there, the only angle you really had that you knew someone was at was the left. And if that target didn't present itself, then you would have kind of just been stuck there, not sure what to do with it. So finding an angle where you can see more to throw that at is a good thing. It also makes it so that the enemy team is forced to respond to more potential threats. Like, if you're in the middle of the map and there's someone on the right and someone on the left, they both have to stop what they're doing for a second and see what direction you end up throwing that in. They can't just continue to operate as they have been, and so that slows them down more. So this is a point at which I would be abandoning the tower push for the time being. You have two players down. You've cleared a checkpoint just now. So the enemy team of 4 is going to rush your team of 2. And there's a very, very low likelihood that you're ever even going to make it to the second checkpoint, let alone clear it. Checkpoints are really what matter here. If you can't clear a checkpoint, then it's not really worth even continuing to push forward, because the checkpoint is just going to get in the way before you move it towards lead. And the extra, progress that you make between where you are right now at 81 and that second checkpoint literally doesn't matter if you're not going to be able to clear the checkpoint when you get there. And trying to get to the checkpoint is more likely to get you splatted and get you staggered and make it less likely you're going to be able to push to the checkpoint the next time. So at this point, just kind of back up. Farm for special and get your teammates' jumps back in if you can. Sorry, what was that?
I said we did not back up and we did get staggered.
Yeah, and that, I believe, probably just comes down to a matter like whether you recognize the numbers advantage, because that would be probably the number one reason that you'd stay pushed up, that you just don't realize you're in a 2v4 right now. Quick question for chat, because I don't hear exactly the way that you guys hear. Is the audio too low from the Discord call? Like, are you guys able to hear Juwules okay over the top of it? For me, it's the game is way louder, but it could be different for you guys. Waits for 15 seconds for chat to catch up. They're a little low. Okay. Cool. I will
talk louder too. I'm just shy.
No, this is more on my side than it is on you, for sure. Where is the DM? There's the DM. And then I go here. And...
Hello, I am talking loud now.
Aha! There, that should be a lot better.
Loud and clear.
Thank you, Hollow Knight for life.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
But
that ends up being more of just like a 1v1. Like, the enemy team doesn't exactly collapse on you there. But what I'm noticing here is that you're doing that thing where you're trying to kite, you know, you're attacking them and then jumping and backing up. The problem is the weapon you're fighting has longer range than you. You can only kite a weapon if you outrange it, because otherwise they're fine with you putting distance between you and them, because that puts you out of range before it puts them out of range.
And kiting is the jumping while very slowly going backwards.
Kiting is moving backwards while attacking forwards. It is a tactic that's used by a longer ranged weapon to prevent a shorter ranged weapon from being able to get in range as quickly because you're moving backwards, while also doing damage to it. And it's the way that a longer ranged weapon can get away with having a slower kill time than the shorter ranged weapon, because they're doing damage for as much time as possible before the short ranged weapon is able to get in range of them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I was being a little goofy here.
It's a tactic that's also used in a lot of other games. So you'll hear this talked about in games like League of Legends. You'll hear it talked about in a lot of like PvE games, like World of Warcraft, or in like those are the biggest places that I've seen it talked about, but it's all over the place. So just if you ever have something that has longer range than the enemy player, you engage, you do damage, you back up, you do damage, you back up, and you just alternate between those two things, or do them both at the same time if possible, and that's kiting. The other thing, though, from here is that you get hit, the whale gets shot at you, and we spend a little bit too long continuing to fire while the whale is attacking us. That's like 2 shots, I think, we fire once we know that the whale is once we already know the whale is aimed at us. And staying in the whale that long is just going to get us splatted.
I tunnel visioned on there. I was like, I want to get them so bad, but I do a lot of tunnel visioning trying to get splats, and then I get no splats.
Yeah, what I would say for your weapon is to get more in the mindset of, I just want to keep them away from me. If that means that I splat them, then good. But the goal here is
like that would
keep them
work
off
really
me.
well for me. I want them away from me for sure.
Just like, nope, you don't know. Hey, you stay right where you are, mister.
Come near me. I will cry.
I'm thinking more in the sense of like somebody who's trying to keep a kid in timeout. To try and kind of adopt that sort of thought process. Like, no, you stay there in that corner, mister. No, you watch out. I'm gonna throw soda at you if you keep moving towards me. That's maybe a little abusive to children, but yeah, that's the goal. We're gonna make strong jewels, strong,
no
strong,
scared.
confident jewels. Yes, that's the goal. So anyway. 170 days till Silk Song, but who's counting?
Not me.
This is a little spooky.
So scary.
So once you land in the point sensor, very first thing that I'm thinking is, do I have an escape route behind me? Like, can I just run away? Because right now I don't think you can. And they launch a lot of stuff right in front of you.
This whole game they were like, I know exactly where you are.
Yes, and that is how the Nova works. The Nova, it doesn't do a lot of things, but one thing it does do is scout. Your teammates are going to know where the opponents are when you play Nova. So, from where you were, a slosh directly behind you, followed by snapping the camera back to the direction of the tower, would have done wonders for you, because you could have put a lot more space in between you and them and not had to worry about them rushing you while you're dealing with the lasers that they shoot at you. But at this point, they're just tracking your every move. You have nowhere to run. You peek out behind a wall for an instant and they're going to hit you. So from there, because they knew where you were, peeking out from behind the wall was not the play. The play was to go backwards. So you're keeping the wall in between you and them the whole time, but they still can't hit you. Teammate did not know there was someone on the right. That's unfortunate. So there is a jump to here. Okay, good job trading that. Something to think about, if there's a jump there, they had to have someone to jump to.
Yeah, I see jump and I do tunnel vision. Like, you'll see me a couple of times just, like, throw sloshes at jumps that aren't even there yet, and then I just have to be like, why?
One thing you could try if you want to try to attack it from a little further away is throw an uncharged fizzy on that exact spot, and it's a little bit easier to hit. You kind of have a backboard, like to think of it in basketball terms. You have the tower pole here, which if you overshoot, it'll just bounce off the tower pole and probably stay there. So you can try and aim a single charge fizzy at this spot, and then if it gives you the hit sound that like you hit someone, then you know someone's there. If it doesn't, you've still painted that player's feet and now they're stuck there. And you're able to do that from further away than if you were to check it with your main weapon, like so. Your teammate is over here. The tower is over here.
Which teammate is that?
Noises.
Noises? Is that the Dapples?
That's the T-Tech.
Oh.
Oh, no, it is the Dapples. You're right. I got mixed up. Yeah, it's the Dapples. But so, as soon as the tower got mounted again, where does this happen? So we're pushing the tower back. As soon as it gets taken right there, the Dapples' priority should be to play the tower at this point. I guess they're kind of getting zoned away a little bit, but they could get zoned away in this direction instead of getting zoned away in this direction. So it's a little bit of a misplay from them, and that's putting them out of position to try and help with the defense. So unfortunately, we lose checkpoint for that, but we do eventually get the splats we need. And so now we got our work cut out for us because, oh my goodness, I am clicking the wrong thing. Now we've got our work cut out for us because at this point, we need to almost knock out. We need to get through all of the checkpoints, and we need to score all the way down to 10 to get the lead back. We still have half the game to do that, so this is no time to panic, but we need to kind of play sort of aggressive, take some risks, clear some space, and control that space to be able to make it work. So as we land, we're coming in a little hot. We see that there are shots from over here. So first thing I'm thinking to do is put something in between me and this player, because if they're hitting their shots, then I get splatted. Fortunately, they don't. But first thing I probably would have done there is get my feet painted enough that I can just get behind the pole here. And it takes a couple of extra sloshes that you fire before you go and do that. What was that?
I don't know what happened there. Oh, I think that was a suction bomb, but it was like...
Was it a suction bomb?
I could not see it at all.
So what can happen is if you put a suction bomb on the floor in front of the tower and then the tower runs over it, you might not be able to see the suction bomb.
I was getting desperate too. I probably shouldn't have jumped.
This jump is fine because there's enough of your color paint in front of it, but you absolutely do not want to stay on the tower any longer than as soon as you land. Because you've already got a teammate on the tower, and there's someone who's shooting at the tower, so you don't want to be where they're shooting. You want to drop down probably to the left here and try and take control of this area right here. This area is actually really strong for the attacking team. If the defending team tries to push into this, they can get run around, in a ring around the rosy game for a good long while before they can actually pinch this player and track them down. So if you get on the other side over here, you have a side angle on anyone who tries to go after the tower. You don't exactly have their back, but you have their side, and you can force them to look between one direction and another. And you can also see up over the top of this, so that if somebody does come across, you're able to hit up over the top. This would be a really powerful position, I think, for you to take here, rather than staying on tower, where if somebody shoots in one direction, they're going to hit all of you at the same time.
I don't know what I was doing.
That is actually a phenomenal play right there. That was the player that needed to go down so the tower could continue pushing, and you ran up and took them out. You ended up taking a little bit more damage, I think, than you needed to on the way up. Yeah, so if that jump goes away from these arrows, I think you can actually get far enough away from them that they won't explode and hit you. And the explosion was what splatted you. So if you just jump forward and left instead of backwards here to get this player, so forward and left being exactly the direction away from these arrows, you probably get this pick cleanly, and there's not anybody near enough to follow up on that yet.
Yeah, it would have been nice to live through that. I think that would have been really helpful.
Mm-hmm. Like, it was already a huge deal that you got the splat, because that was the only player who was in position to contest the checkpoint. So even just with the trade, you just bought your team the checkpoint. The thing is, if you get it cleanly, you can probably buy your team more than just the checkpoint.
Yeah,
because it's going to end right there.
Everything started getting funky, and I did a terrible jump, and I was in a scary spot. Everything's scary.
It's okay. They're just squids. They're not real. So right now, as we're jumping in, what I'm paying attention to is, like, what are my teammates looking at? Because looking at the map and looking at, like, the paint as you land doesn't really tell you the full story. Your teammate knows the full story because they're at the ground level, and what their actions indicate can tell you a lot about the situation. So, like, this player right here, if they're backing up, that means there's something over in this area that they're scared of. If they're starting to move forward, that means they think they have a good fight and you can maybe press in with them. So I'm looking at Noise's body language here to indicate, like, okay, what's the plan right now? Like, what are you anticipating? Because it's a pretty even game. So if they want to go for a fight, it's not a bad time to follow up and help them out and help them take it. So I'm kind of trying to play off what Noises is setting up for me as I land here. And we see down here above this ledge, there's actually someone over here of the enemy team. I don't know if you noticed that. But they're directly...
They just drop down? I didn't see it. Oh, yep, there's their little head. So
they were actually down the ramp, but they unsquid right here, which lets you see them. So looking at my teammate and trying to follow their lead here would make me keenly aware of what's happening on this side, because this is what threatens my teammate, and this is what my teammate is going to need to deal with. If I spot that out, that then triggers the impulse in me to try and help collapse on this player. So maybe if I'm not close enough, I chuck a fizzy bomb up over the top and try to land it around where they're about to be. Or maybe if I have time, I flank around the right and hit around the right side. That's a little bit riskier with somebody else looking. Or I could try to jump up on top of this platform and hit a sloshing machine slosh over the top once I've got visual on them. But now we're in a little bit of trouble, because all of this time we've spent, aiming at the tower when there's no information that would indicate to us that somebody's on the tower. All of that time that we've spent sloshing over there is going to give our position away, and now with this player down over here, we could get pushed from this direction. This player could cut off our escape route from here. This is a dangerous spot to be in. With this would be a situation where I might just super jump out if I find myself in it. Or just stand my ground and beat that guy. Let's go. Unfortunately, your teammates didn't do quite as good of a job at standing their ground and beating the guy, so I would still jump out from here.
Oh no. One man trying to...
Oh my goodness. Or just win the game yourself. Like, what do you even need your teammates for?
It doesn't happen.
Yeah, from here, at that point, like, once I'm marked, from here, you have time, and, like, you're this way, and you know that your teammates are on their way. All you've really got to do from here is hop backwards onto this platform. Just jump back off the tower. Tower will stay there for 5 seconds, just not moving at all. Enemy team is too far away to be able to jump onto the tower from here, so they can't exactly start sending it back to mid any sooner. If they approach the tower, you are a sloshing machine. You like them approaching you. And this gives your teammates time to get in here and clear them out in front of you. so that you keep the tower where it's at, but you don't go down with the ship, trying to defend it.
Yeah, I think I started getting desperate. I was like, this is our chance, and I got all freaky.
It is a good chance, and you do still have them staggered for getting those picks. The way to follow up on a stagger is to get your numbers advantage into play. Once you have multiple players further forward up on the map to help you, that's when you're really going to be able to do something with this, with the stagger that you've earned. Because even as it stands, you're still in like a 1v2, despite the fact that you've gotten so many picks, because your teammates aren't there yet, and the opponents are respawning much closer to where you are than your teammates are. So just give them a little bit of time, and then you'll have overwhelming numbers advantage. And all it's going to take from here, you've got 1 minute 25 seconds. That's a lot of time. All it's going to take at this point in the game is one solid fight win, and you probably can just push the tower to win the game. You've got it in the enemy base. There's only one checkpoint in the way. You're super duper close. And you have an eternity in Splatoon time to be able to make that happen. So just stall it out, keep yourself safe, make sure you keep the opponents away from you as best you can, like we were talking about. And as long as you're patient, this should work out for you.
Oh, patience.
And if you're not patient, then that happens.
That happens, yeah.
So I like that you're jumping into the further player back. That's a good call.
I don't know why I slosh at the tower all the time. I'm just noticing that now. Like, no one is there.
It might be that you're seeing, like, the shots here and assuming, oh, green on tower, green on tower
hill.
bad. But where those shots are really coming from is this player here. And if you target this player with, like, a fizzy bomb, that keeps the player on your team who's trying to ride the tower safer. And that's why I would have thrown a fizzy bomb, so that I'm not having to push into their range before I'm harassing them. So Noises dives in and gets a 1-for-1 trade, and no progress is made.
Oh, I'm marked again.
Yeah, it's going to happen when you're up against a Nova. I like that you're just moving away from that. You're recognizing, like, no need to stay where I'm at, no need to get my feet painted or anything. I'm just going to get all the way out of the way. You recognize that Noises is over here starting to try and do stuff. These sloshes are quite out of range. Like, you would need probably like a custom dually squelchers or like a dually squelchers at least to be able to hit this from here, like a squeezer range kind of weapon. So recognize after fewer sloshes that you're missing, and move with like swimming to get in range once you notice this, or just swim close enough that you're going to hit the shots before you fire them.
I do be walking a lot. I'm walking here like a lot more than I thought.
I like that thinking. You don't need to directly engage that player. You have numbers advantage on them. No need to rush into their range or anything. Just hit up over the top of a ledge or something, and your teammates can take care of the rest.
This is dumb. I just shooting a gajillion shots at the jump.
What you could do here is take the time that the stringer isn't looking at you to go up and attack them first and force them away, and then by the time this lands, you'll have it clear and it won't be defended. You do eventually get them, but the tri-stringer is able to trade back your roller when they help you because they're still in that position. If you scare the tri-stringer away first and then go for the jump, it's a lot cleaner. Oh, I think you probably meant to throw that past the tower, right? It looks like you were aiming at like this guy, but maybe I'm wrong.
I think I wanted to initially, but then I thought somebody was calling on it, and...
Gotcha. In that position, if you put the Booyah Bomb right here, that's pretty powerful, because from there, these players have to back away, these players have to back away, and the player who's on tower, maybe they get to stay on tower, but they're a single player on tower against the rest of your team, and the tower is going to reveal their position, which will make them a pretty easy pick. So if you put that Booyah Bomb there, that's actually probably going to help you more for reclaiming the tower.
Yeah, I think I'm noticing I'm always trying to kill whatever is on the tower, regardless of if there's anything on the tower. But I'm not even paying attention to the teammates not on the tower a lot of the time.
Yeah. Let me check one thing really quickly. Is this correct? Oh, well, I need to do this. Is this the correct input? Yes, it is. And scribble, scribble. Perfect. Okay. So that'll show up on stream. Now I just need to make it show up in Discord for you. Oop. Yep. And there is. Well, no. Stop. And that's why I don't like to use that view when I can help it. But I do need it moved over to here. Okay. So let's stop that and let's share this to here. And now you should see that too. Are you seeing scribbles?
I see scribbles.
Perfect. Okay. So, something else about throwing the Booyah on tower that is uniquely weak for this situation. So here's mid. Here's where the tower is. Booyah Bomb lands right here. The Booyah Bomb is a sphere, so it's going to hit in a circle around this point. So what that means is a lot of the radius of the circle is kind of wasted because it has to go down all the way to catch a player who's standing right here. You don't have to be very far away from the tower in this position to escape the Booyah Bomb because it's so high up. If instead, and it will kind of create some 3D here. If instead you put it right here while the tower is up here, it will still expand out and reach the tower, but this radius here, where it's hitting players at ground level, will be wider than it is if you put it directly on top of the tower. So it'll control more space effectively if you put it lower on the ground, close to where the enemy players actually are. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense. I throw it a lot just at the top, and I didn't notice that, it takes up so much less space like that where people actually are.
Okay. So that view should be fixed. And we'll go back to this. Alrighty. And Zealous, it's already been answered, but yes, just DM me on Discord. That's here, and we can set that up. I have two available options. One is to be on this stream, which is weekly every Tuesday. That is free, but it is also, there's a line for it. I think we might still have some spots left in February to give you an idea of how far backed up it is. But I also have a Metafy, which you can find from these links here. That is paid, but those you can book within a few days, usually. So that is another option available if you would like. Anyway. Going back. Oh, this is probably just the end of the game. Oh, you actually almost managed to save it. But with how green it was around there, the game is pretty much already lost. You can pretty much count on that being the end of it there.
Yeah, and this was in my rank up series. I was very sad.
Sorry to hear it, but there is always another chance. There's always another series. We'll just jump ahead real quick to look at... Hello. No, not there. Oh, okay, we don't get to see that stuff at the end. Okay. So yeah, I think the 11 deaths part here is the part that we want to work on. You're actually, putting yourself in places where you're having an impact in fights and you're hitting a good number of directs. Um, I wouldn't even say that your aim is necessarily weak relative to like the place that you're at. You just need to put yourself in more positions where you can physically hit the shots, and you need to be moving so that you're giving yourself more time to get your aim on. And if you do that, I think more of the shots will land. I don't think it's that your aim is bad per se. I think that you're just getting into this pattern that isn't lending itself well to you hitting shots or like avoiding enemy damage long enough to hit shots, and that's reducing your ability to actually get the shots fired.
Yeah, I'm going down way too much.
And so defensive play, that's what you want to try and replace your I don't know what to do, hold direction, press ZR. That you want to take that reflex out and put in, I'm going to kite this player back. I'm going to create an escape route for myself and run away. I'm going to check the heads-up display, realize I'm outnumbered, and dip out of this. I'm going to throw a fizzy bomb instead of engaging with my main weapon. And the more of that you do, the more I think you'll see this number tick down while the other number stays the same, and all of a sudden you'll be having a huge impact on those matches. Just keep yourself alive, play keep away, keep them away from you, and as long as you do that, you're going to be doing good stuff, because this weapon is going to set you up to do that. Do you have any
Thank
questions for me?
No, that was really comprehensive. Thank you. I have a lot to think about now.
All right, thank you. Really appreciate you coming on the show. So next up, we will have a VOD review for Willum Juwules, who I don't think has sent me a link.
I have not, because I wanted to clarify something with you
Okay.
first. I was originally planning on doing a Squiffer game. Is that lost? Is that like lost in translation, I guess, is the way I'd put it?
I'm
Or
happy to talk about Squiffer.
Okay. Because...
Put whatever weapon you want to improve at.
Okay, Squiffer, probably.
All right.
That's... Let me send you this link real quick. I prepared multiple games in case that was something you didn't want to go for. That should be it.
All right.
All I want to say is I'm kicking myself for not doing this earlier. Because while the stream died, Jules and I were talking, we both look like C rank players and we're watching our own recordings.
Yeah. It's like hearing your own voice on the microphone or something. Like, you never like it when it's you and you're seeing it from a different perspective than you usually see it from. But to other people, it's just like, yeah, they're playing Splatoon. But
all right. So I've watched this too many times already, so I've come up with some conclusions on my own, but I'm curious to... I kind of want to hold those until, we go through it together, I guess.
All right. So we've got a lot of midline.
Yep.
This is Stamper and 52 are probably going to be your lead two here, and you're going to be looking for picks in fights that they set up for you. You're going to be able to paint decently well, and you're relatively mobile, but you still want to be keeping your range as a Squiffer, because your fire rate is not fantastic. You need to make every shot count. And if somebody gets on top of you and you're not ready and that shot doesn't go the right way, that's a problem for you. So it's important to keep yourself at that arm's length, be kiting people like we were talking about. And the junior is also going to do a great job with torpedoes for making the enemy team distracted, getting them focused on something other than the fact that there's a laser hovering at them. So not a bad comp for you guys. They, meantime, have a very similar one, actually. Another Squiffer, another Splatana Stamper, a Vanilla Junior instead of a C Junior, and then Tetras rather than the 52. But super, super similar comps, actually. They're going to play in largely the same way. Okay, I'm glad you didn't push in front of that splash wall. If the junior throws a bomb at that splash wall and you're on the wrong side of it, you go down. So that splash wall is kind of a barrier for you, in a sense. And there's the Squiffer over here. Unless you think you've, got... unless you think they're distracted, you don't want to be engaging on them while they're charging here. You don't want to be moving forward into their range while they've started pressing the ZR button first, because they just win that.
I don't think I do, but...
Yeah, you don't. And you're marked... Note that you're marked. From here, what I worry is that there's somebody sharking around this area that would spot me as I pushed up here and have an ambush ready or something. So a lot of the time what I like to do is actually go the opposite direction of where I want to go when I have this on me, so that as soon as it goes off, I just start going back to where I wanted to go in the first place, and they think that I'm going in the opposite direction of where I actually am.
Yeah, a bit of a fake out. Okay.
From here, I'm worried about your escape routes. You're marked.
This happens a lot, yeah.
You've got a teammate way out here who you're not at an angle where you can help anyway, and they're not at an angle where they can help you. There's a big blind spot to the back left, and from when you dropped down, this did not look super well painted. Okay, you've got a little bit of a ways you can go backwards. But from back here, especially if someone's going down here, if someone's going down here, that means somebody's gotten in behind you.
Yeah. And you'll see, I get totally blindsided by the Tetras, I think.
Nice.
They don't see me either, I guess, but...
They should have seen you.
I know.
That you were marked. That there were a lot of reasons that they should have known that you were there. Even if you weren't marked, that's something they should notice. But yeah, that's just tunnel vision on their part. So nice couple of shots here. That's going to clean the tower up. And here you're dead. In all likelihood. Okay, they kind of let you get away with that. This is too many individual shots there. What they should be doing once they recognize they're missing is swimming forward towards you, and they could probably jump out of the ink and get a melee range dash out on you.
Yeah.
They're not being as sticky as they could be here. And they're also missing a bunch of shots. They could have also thrown a burst bomb to paint your feet. They had options. So the place that you wanted to be running away from was here. Because this player right here can drop down and be in range of you. Even as the junior, they can drop down and they're in range of you. This is too close. You don't want to be this close to the tower when there's somebody on it from the other team. So, and that, I think, is exactly what happens.
I mean, in this situation, do I even play in this corner where I'm at? Because...
So in this situation, what should happen is your feet are painted... They've hit the indirect, so they just hit a charge slash here, and you either get splatted or they need one more short range attack. So this plus that should have already splatted you. You should not get out of this. Now, once you do get out of this, you don't want to be... Well, I guess you could try and fire that shot, but that gives them 2 more attempts to hit this horizontal slash, which... again, should be splatting you, and it's totally on them that they're not.
I think I should have just jumped out already.
Jumping out
I don't know
is
if that's the right play,
going to give them too much time to get their aim on. You want to be retreating, just hard retreating. So, from here, just, swim sideways or something so that their shots miss. And make as much distance between them as you can, or put as much in between them and you as you can. So maybe swimming to the left would be an option, because you could put this corner between you and them, and then you could get to this ramp, and all the while you're swimming, you're healing up. Because another problem right now is that, look at how much damage there is on your screen. All they need is a single horizontal slash, which is a massive hitbox and pretty decent range and a pretty quick fire rate. So again, you don't win if you stay in this. You want to just be getting away as much as you possibly can.
It's kind of one of the wake up call things because it's so like I'm in the moment I'm just focusing on the shot, and it's taking up all my brain power basically.
Mm-hmm. Nice shot there. I think you probably don't want to go for this just because you know that there's stuff going on in mid. But like with the big bubbler up, against most weapons, this is fine. Oh, and then the big bubbler goes down right away. Well, that's unfortunate. But the Tetras would have hit those shots anyway because they could roll into your big bubbler. Tetras are one of the strongest counters to big bubbler in the game. If they want to, they could just run a reef slider through it, and that would actually do something for once. So it puts us in a 2v2 situation. But our team is on the tower, and the Tetras have not actually doubled back to take care of it, so we get the checkpoint. At this point, our teammates should just run away. I think the player who's marked on tower is probably going to go down here. Yep. This is, once you miss the first shot, you need to be backing up and keeping your range here. Once you miss that first shot, like, you can, like, maybe swim, jump backwards, and start charging in the air as you are coming down to the ground, but you don't want to be standing still where you're at. Like, you don't actually use this jump to move backwards, you just move sideways. And this is a weapon that needs to get really close to you to be able to splat you, so you can kite this really hard.
I'm noticing, like, I just kind of have a default behavior a little bit. Just playing obscenely aggressively sometimes. And it's something that gets me killed a lot.
Yeah, like, I don't think it's necessarily wrong to push up into the positions you're at. What's getting you caught out is that you're not recognizing when opponents have pushed up into a position that threatens you.
Right.
You're not seeing when they're flanking you. You're not seeing when, like, a teammate goes down that was covering your flank. And if you respond to those things, then the places that you start positioning, you can recover from. But because you stay in those positions, even though they're already compromised, that's when you're getting into trouble.
Yeah. I don't know if this is, like, actually true or not, but I think I'm getting away with a lot of stuff in lower ranks. And now that I'm purely playing X battles, I'm just getting slapped around for making careless mistakes like this.
Yeah. So this position from here, we'll go back into the match at this point. This position here is solid up until the point where it goes past the first checkpoint area. Once it goes past there, this position is completely useless. The tower is not going to be visible to this position until it gets to like 25 or something. So while this could definitely help to stop the checkpoint, if you see that it's very likely they're going to get the checkpoint, you want to start moving preemptively so you're in a position that can help by the time it gets to second check. So that's something to keep in mind. In a lot of places, this position is the primary snipe location. But with tower control, the tower is going to spend so little time here in mid that this often just doesn't get you a lot of value.
Trying to think where the better position, like, I would assume on the right side of the map.
Yeah, it would either be the far top right, like where that U-shaped Great Bridge is, or if you're going to be on ground level, then peeking around Spine, which is this wall right here that I'm pointing at with my mouse.
Right.
If you think that there's a high likelihood of someone trying to flank in from the left-hand side, you're not a bad player to try and cover that, and maybe once that's clear and you've got, paint up to about here, you try and flank around the tower and hit it from this angle. That's an option too if you end up in this position. But the tower's over here, and so at a certain point we're going to need to rotate over there. But that moment is not now because they're not through first check, and you're able to stop it by putting the pressure that you do from there. Even though you don't hit shots, you scare them away. That's a little bit more aggressive than I probably would like. It's not a bad idea for you to take this fight because you outrange this player, but you're not using your range. So what you want to be doing is taking this corner a little bit wider. Do you know what I mean when I say that?
Yeah, wide swing in other games, basically.
Pie the corner is a way that they talk about it. That's going to keep you further away from the Tetras so that you have more time to hit your shots and you get information on them sooner.
I think I was trying to right-hand peek, and I mean, I just didn't fully charge it.
Right side peek advantage, while I always show it off by sitting right on top of the corner, it still applies to pieing the corner, to taking a wide turn around it. Because then you're still going to see them sooner and you're still going to be less exposed. It's just there's more of a gap between you and the cover that you're using to accomplish that.
Yeah, I think in other shooters, playing the corner a little closer, I'm used to doing that because it lets you escape. If you have a wide angle, they can, cover that angle to try and pressure you. Whereas if you're closer, you have more time to be in cover, I guess. But it just doesn't really apply here sometimes.
So the Zipcaster did land over there. Did you spot the Zipcaster landing?
Yeah, I tried to take a shot and I was out of range, and then I ego challenged it, basically. It was just dumb.
Okay, nice trade. So at this point, with pressure coming from this side, this does get really awkward. What might help you is maybe to get underneath this wall for long enough to deal with this threat, and then turn around. Because we're out in the open in between two pieces of cover for a while, and so it doesn't give us a lot that we can do. Once they swim up to me, remember that, we're looking at a stamper here. This is a melee weapon. This is something where if it does get close to you, it just one-shots. So they're going to have the advantage from that range. And so if they're trying to get up here, if they stop and just, fire a charge shot or fire, a horizontal slash, that doesn't splat you. And that gives you enough time to get your one-shot prepared. So no reason to be right on top of them. You could be just swimming away from them as soon as you see the splashes in the ink and keeping that distance so they can't melee range you, and get a shot ready as soon as you know that they're far enough away that you can avoid that.
Yeah, it's something I have to keep in mind. Actually in mind.
So, technically speaking, that was a great shot to get them at point blank. And if you're going to be that close to them, that's the best case scenario. But they don't necessarily have to let you have that. Good that you're taking that out. You're the best equipped weapon on your team to be able to take that out and make the tower vulnerable again. So it's great that you're taking advantage of the opportunity, especially with the 52 gal putting out a great wall for you to be able to do that with.
Yeah, I love that play. I think I forget what I said out loud, but it was a good job from the teammate there.
So unfortunately, the team is continuing to try and take fights at numbers disadvantage. They actually mostly come out on top of it. But right now, for example, this is 3v2, and your teammates keep fighting. What they should probably do here... Oh, man.
I did not realize Custom Junior was over in that corner.
Yeah, I don't know how they got there. That's a really awkward position for them to be in. The tower is moving away from them. They're on a weapon that's not going to be able to come in on the flank very effectively, and even if they try to, they have to reach so high to hit the tower that they have to be right on top of it, which is going to put them in a really vulnerable spot. They're just super out of position. If I were them, I would want to be just super jumping out. But maybe if they find a shark somehow, they're going to be able to make it work. But meantime, you have a Tetris in your base. Okay, so...
It's a trade, I think, yeah.
Yeah, they end up trading. If you're able to ever, help with that and make that a clean fight win, then that's great. Because Tetras are actually happy to trade. They run a whole bunch of, obviously the quick respawn isn't going to trigger here, but they're kind of counting on that, and they're counting on, being able to take risky super jumps back in to be able to get back into play faster. So they're more
Yeah.
likely benefiting from a one-for-one trade when they get it, and it's important to collapse on that as a team whenever possible. But you only had so much you could do. Oh, that was close. That was a nice
Yeah, I
attempt.
wanted it so bad, but skill issue.
Now, once you miss that first shot, you definitely need to be putting space between you and them. And this is a trend that I'm seeing from the earlier fight with them.
Yeah.
Just don't be on top of them if you don't have to. You have time to ready your shot if they need to move towards you. Like, work on kiting more instead of just trying to stand your ground with a weapon that has this much range. Because if you back up, not only does that get you further away from the Splatana Stamper, it also gets you away from that bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like the same thing, actually, that I was talking about with Juwules earlier, about how your weapon doesn't lose accuracy for jumping. So even while, in fact, you don't lose charge speed either for jumping. So take advantage of that by just jumping for movement whenever you get the opportunity to in combat.
Yeah. I've begun to shy away from that, and maybe not, for the better. I've had some people drop bombs at my feet while I'm jumping, and I'm just lost because I can't do anything.
You need to jump very intentionally.
Yeah.
If you get in the habit of jumping, then that will happen because it becomes predictable. But
Yeah.
a single jump to get you away from that stamper, the bomb wouldn't have been in place until after you landed from the jump. And as long as you don't keep jumping after the first one, then you're going to be fine.
Gotcha.
But, like, the thing about jumping once is, how does the junior know where you're trying to go? They might, anticipate what direction you're going to jump, but maybe you just jump in an unpredictable direction and now the bomb misses.
Right.
And you can kind of wait until there's a threat to jump so that you know what you're up against. It's when you get in the habit of jumping that it becomes a problem. But I think it's really important, especially for weapons that don't take accuracy debuffs and, aren't penalized in terms of fire rate or something by jumping.
Yeah, it seems to be the theme for me, is the bad habits.
And everyone's going to develop some of those. It's like something that I've noticed about the game, and FLC talks about this on a much higher level, talking about, like, DivX teams do what beat Div 1 teams. But I noticed it's starting from the very bottom of the ranked ladder that what happens with C rank players is they haven't played the mode before, and so a lot of the time they just don't play the objective. And through a process of, like, evolution of natural selection, the people who play the objective are the ones who make it into B rank.
Right.
Because they just play the objective. Well, that leads them to the habit of obsessively playing the objective. You'll end up with 3 players on tower at a time because everyone's trying to play the objective.
Yeah.
And so that gets punished by people who throw bombs at the tower, and so then people adapt from there. And, like, every step of the process, you're being rewarded for certain behavior that will be punished at the next level because people will adapt to it.
Mm-hmm.
So there are always going to be bad habits to break, even if, the habits that you have are working at the level that you're at. And there'll always be some of those kinds of things. So don't feel too bad if there's something you're noticing that, like, oh, I do that too much. Everybody has something they do too much.
That's why I said I'm glad I started doing this now, because I'm seeing it in my face, where it's way easier to ignore it or miss it in game.
Ooh, that was a bomb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just the attention span of an ant, and I didn't even look at it.
It's so the way that I look at it is that there isn't something in your head, and there isn't like a subroutine, an active subroutine in your brain that is programmed to detect the bomb. Like, there is no habit that you've built. There's no, like, process that's always going that gives you that warning sign. There's no alarm system. And so that's something that you want to condition into yourself, that like you hear bomb noise and it's that close to you. Stop what doing, find bomb, you know?
Yeah. I've been trying to build the habit of squid rolling to protect myself a little bit. It gets me out of the random bomb situation that maybe not random, but the long range bomb that no one's really going to follow up on like this.
I would say, you know, if there's going to be a bomb and there's nothing you can do about it, then squid roll. But most of the time that you end up in a situation like this, the answer is just get away from the bomb.
Right.
Because the squid roll, you're still going to take significant damage from that. You're still going to be down to like 20 HP after that bomb hits you.
Oh, wait, really?
Yes, so squid roll works like Ink Armor did in Splatoon 2.
Oh, okay.
And what that does is it will stop lethal damage from splatting you, but the way that it does so is a little bit complicated. And, you know, I'll leave it up to you to look it up on Splatoon Wiki and figure out the flowcharts. But essentially, what Ink Armor prevents from happening is, you'll take lethal damage that will break the armor, but it will cap the damage that is actually done to your Inkling at 80.
Sure. So it leaves you one shot?
It leaves you one shot to even a Splatter Shot Nova or an Arrow Spray.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, somebody's asking like what VOD stands for. VOD is just video on demand, which it's a recorded video that we're reviewing for the purposes of coaching. Nice.
I don't know why I was there with the Slatana. I'm pretty sure he had it.
Yeah, they probably had it, but, you know, a little bit of insurance. Maybe they had Drop Roller, maybe they were Tetras or something, you know. Doesn't hurt to keep a second eye on it just in case.
Okay. I think I was like staring at the big bubbler trying to break it again because that alarm isn't like that subroutine's in my brain, but it's a bit to the detriment of me that time.
Yeah, from here, this is a really awkward spot to be in because your spawn is over here.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of control over mid, so you've got to be very careful and get information before you're going to feel comfortable like dropping and trying to go reunite with your team here. And all the while that you're collecting that information, you have to be mindful that there is someone on the enemy team who's respawning who knew where you were at least recently. So you might want to be careful about exposing your laser at this point in time. You might consider super jumping back or super jumping to a teammate or something, because I don't know what you do here to get out of this.
Getting splatted, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that'll return you to spawn eventually. Okay. So we almost get that one.
I don't know if I'm out of range on that one or not.
That one I think you are out of range. But I'd have to double check in recon mode. The first one was in range, and the aim just wasn't there. I think
Gotcha.
There was maybe a little bit of a flub on the movement, and you were expecting to be at a different point as you were falling off the ledge than you were actually at. It's usually something like that.
I think this is what I was talking about by the obscenely aggressive tendencies. Like, I don't need to be on this corner.
It's like, being on this corner isn't necessarily a bad thing, but you've got to be stealthy about it. Like, you want to see this this drop, this arrow, get the charge ready from behind the wall, pop it out as soon as the player lands and hit them before they know what happened, and then retreat. What's happening is that you're firing shots that are giving your position away. They're noticing you're there, and it is then that you're in danger. And that's kind of been the recurring theme here, that like you're continuing to remain in a position after it's safe, rather
Right.
than like moving, taking that position, taking a shot, then moving someplace else, taking a shot someplace else. That will probably make it so that the positions you're taking are actually okay for the most part, but you've got to move in between them.
So this one kind of falls into the hard commit category then.
Right, like being here isn't bad. Like what I would probably do is just tap shot here to get my feet painted so I can leave. Then as this comes in, have charge ready so that I hit them on landing, and then use this paint to dip out of there and get behind the splash wall before anyone can chase me.
Gotcha.
Especially after you miss a shot, it's especially important to be moving, because like if you hit a shot, then you cleared the opponents away. You know, their zone control is weakened at that point, and you might just be able to keep holding that spot. But once you miss once, now you've lost the element of surprise, and they know where you are, and now your weapon, you know, and its low fire rate is punishable. So that's when you've got to be careful.
Yeah, I'm feeling kind of silly now because it's something I try to apply to other games. Take a shot, move, and then you just do that until you can create an advantage. But I'm not doing it here.
Nice shot.
This is dangerous. But
Yeah, that the after you get the big bubbler, even actually, I wouldn't even take that last shot at the big bubbler. You'd probably need to move here to make their shot miss. But after they miss, it's safe to take that shot.
that one just kind of felt like a 50-50 with who hits their shot. And if, you know, I was playing someone who was better, it wouldn't be a winning fight.
Right, like the way that I think about that kind of situation is assume they hit every single shot, you know, and when looking back on the replay, did they have enough shots to take me out?
Right.
And if they didn't have enough shots to take you out, if like you could reasonably expect one of them to miss or one of them to, you know, be out of range or something, and you have time to get your shot in before they can do anything, that's when you can be like, okay, yeah, that was safe. But there, they definitely just missed one shot that they needed to hit. Nice camp on the jump. And we trade there, which is fine because you already got one earlier, so still numbers advantage. And we're going to be able to chase these last players down. This is excellent. So this is one of the best positions our team has been in so far. Unfortunately, one of them chases a little too hard and goes down to the junior. And we lose that whole position by the time you're in. Now,
Yeah.
from here, I see no reason why you can't just jump to the tower. You decide to
Take the
move back
long
in
spawn.
take the long spawn in, because like, so you launch at 29, right? So let's say that right now is when you would have landed by one of your teammates. Let's see how much time ticks down on the clock before you actually get there. Okay, that was 5 seconds. In that time, one of your teammates went down. They pushed from being back here to being over here, and this teammate is marked and in trouble.
Yeah.
So if you land there and you can keep these players back a little more, this player may not be in as much trouble. This player may not have gone down. Like, there's a lot that we could have actually accomplished by being there faster. And this, now, your teammate did just go down over there on the left. And, like, as soon as you hear that sound effect, as soon as you see the ouch, you've got to recognize there is definitely an opponent that can at least see this spot, which means they probably have an angle on you if you stay in here. So too many shots being fired over at the right when there's all this purple over here and there's an opponent that we know just took out our teammate.
I think I dropped, yeah, and this is just dumb.
All right. Well, it's remarkable how similar this play is to what Juwules did in that match
know.
earlier. Just
I
like
saw that.
I'm like, oh yeah, you're probably gonna get splatted here. Okay, they messed up and you hit your shots. Cool, so great job. And okay, why not just win the game by yourself? You know, who needs my advice, right? Just Just do that.
Yeah, it doesn't work out in the end. Spoiler.
Yeah, but this definitely gives your team the best chance that they've had all game. So, okay. In this position, what do we need to do? We've got multiple players on tower already. We don't want to keep too many people on tower if we can help it. But we need everyone to be relatively close to it so they can rotate on if these players do get cleared off. So I would drop off the tower because I've got 2 other people who are on it and try to find at least a little bit of an off angle so that they don't all have to like look in exactly the same spot. Because if the enemy team has 1 player here and 1 player here, they can clear 3 or 4 players off the tower between the 2 of them.
Yeah.
And so we need a position that's going to maybe stop this player from being able to be here, or stop this player from being able to be here, so that the tower can only has to worry about 1 of those angles. I don't know if it's possible to jump across to this bridge from tower. There's probably a small window to maybe be able to do that. And if you're able to lock this player out from there, that would also give you a shot at this spot. So if that's a possibility, then maybe that's an idea, but I don't know if it is. Here, let me look and see. That might be possible. It would have to go up a little bit. Yeah, I think from right here you could probably make that jump. And that would actually be kind of scary if you can get up to maybe like this corner, because then you can stop anyone from being here, and you can also hit this area, so that might be an idea.
We only have to get halfway through check, I believe, in order to win. So I mean, if I were to jump there, I'd be in position to cover. It's just
because I'm thinking, ideally, you would love to be able to put a big bubbler on tower right now. That would probably just win you the game straight up. But you're not anywhere near having the charge for that. Like by the time you get it, it's probably at like 30 or 25 or it's so close that you're probably just doing the rest of this with your main weapon.
Yeah, I missed.
That was pretty much the right idea, though. I like how when you were fighting them, you actually backed away from the tower here. This forces them to make a decision. Do I go for tower and present my back to a squiffer? Or do I go after the squiffer and potentially lose the tower? The positioning there is great, and you have like 2 opportunities to hit a shot that protects the tower from that player. Unfortunately, I think what actually stops the tower is on the opposite side of it. And it might be that like your teammate here gets distracted enough by this guy that they don't notice and they drop off to try and take him out or something. But if you hit, one of those 2 shots, this guy's out of the picture. The Stamper might be able to just hold the tower for your team and only look in that one direction. So like, I think you played this pretty well, honestly. It's just, at the end of the game, there's only so much you can do. But I will also say it's highly likely, if you're able to keep numbers advantage here, that even if this happens earlier in the game, that you're able to push this for lead. So
I'm kind of kicking myself for panic popping that bubble that didn't do anything either. Like with the 3 people that were just kind of on top of me. Because if I had it then, I would have been able to pop it on there, and I can't really tell what stopped tower from my perspective, but I would like to think it would have helped.
Yeah, it had to be on the far right side of the tower. There was someone who had dropped down, so we can see. I think from right here, there's.
Is it the Tetras?
There's something on the right that is attacking your Rose and How 29. Is that
Bowman?
Bow 29. Okay, there, yeah.
Bow something.
Bow, insert random characters and stuff there. So the Squiffer's in the top right. There's a player that I think we see on the other side fighting Rose here. I only see 3 players here.
Well, one of them's coming in from spawn, like at the end of the game. I did see that. They're basically where the Stamper jumped off right now, I think.
Oh, okay, right there. You've got a player here who's jumping onto the tower from this angle.
Oh, I see. Yep.
So that's what stops it. Okay. So yeah, your aim is well above the level that you're at right now, and so what you need to do to take advantage of that is to position yourself so that when you're taking shots, you're keeping yourself safe to take more shots. It's a way to think about it. Like one shot, then move someplace, or maybe a couple shots if you think you've got one and you're safe on the other side. But we need better awareness of when teammates go down, especially in our peripherals, so that we know, oh crap, there's a player who's like behind me. And we need to like keep our stealth whenever we possibly can, like hide our laser, not take too many shots in the same location, so that the aggressive positions we're taking are surprising people rather than getting punished by them.
I did want to, I guess, go further into that a little bit, and this is kind of into gear, but I'm not using Ninja Squid. My rationale is kind of like the Squiffer's a very loud weapon, I guess, where you're kind of just jumping around the laser, all that, and I don't see many people running that, I guess.
Yeah, looks like okay. Looks like the +1 players anyway generally agree. I can't speak for Shorty here, but like it looks like you're playing very similarly to what Leotos is playing.
I mean, I think
that's the wrong one.
More or less yeah, that's exactly what I'm running with the exception of the boots.
Gotcha.
I do have a problem with stealth and trying to work out how to be more stealthy without Ninja Squid when I'm out in the open trying to get through ink and position.
That is a question that there's a
cover.
lot of Splatoon 2 tactics that you can borrow from.
Okay.
So let's just open up the game here real quick and talk about a few concepts. So
Yeah.
first of all, the more paint you have, the more stealthy you are by nature, because they have to check more different areas before they find you. So
Right.
that's already valuable. But I'm going to take off my Ninja Squid. So I'm still not making ripples. If you swim slowly enough like this, you don't cause splashes. It's only when, and in fact, I think
Need to work
you
on
can
that
go to a
then.
certain speed. Okay, no, it'll always cause ripples once you get to a certain speed. But like, if you just hold a little bit lighter, right about here is about max speed, you can swim that fast without letting anybody know that you're there, except with the bubbling sound. The bubbling sound will always be there regardless. So that's
Yeah,
one thing
that's
that you can
Ninja
do.
Squidder now.
Another thing is laser position. So let's say that you're like around a corner from someone, like you were on Spine that one time. If you hide it right here and then pop out like that, they don't see it until it's around the corner because you're pointing it at the wall. And so that kind of thing is pretty unreactable.
I do apply that with E-Leader a lot because like I said, I'm playing backline for the most part, but I find it a little bit more difficult with Swiffer when I'm pushed up more.
Right. So that's obviously only for when you're in positions around corners and stuff, but
Right.
but let's say, we take a shot at this guy. Oh, what in the world? That was a huge lag spike. As soon as I take a shot at someone, I'm immediately swimming somewhere. And that's a habit, just a mechanical habit that you can develop in the practice room here. Like, as soon as you take a shot, you're not taking another shot from standing still. You're doing this kind of thing. And then moving away.
Gotcha.
And that's a way that you can kind of keep using that aim, but you're always moving the whole time. And if someone had been chasing me on the left as I was taking those shots, you can see how I'm kind of moving backwards and hitting
Yeah,
those targets as I retreat.
If they have a short range shooter or whatever, then they're just not even gonna touch you.
Mm-hmm.
I have to keep that in my, consciousness, I guess, whenever I'm actually trying to play then.
And it's something that's really easy to practice in the training room, because you've got all the time to just hit these shots and kind of do this sort of thing backwards.
Yeah.
And as soon as you start seeing anything, what you have in front of you, you have some control over. You can fire shots at this. You have stopping power there. But as soon as the left side starts falling apart, as soon as you're over here, but then you see something out of the corner of your eye over here, now you're in retreat mode. Now you're in, I need to get behind cover so that can't threaten me, and I can look at one direction and be safe still only looking at one direction.
Yeah, maybe that sort of default stand your ground kind of thing did come from the training room with my current routine, because I'm just sitting there shooting dummies and working on my aim, but I'm not working on the positioning that kind of has to go with that in order to be effective.
Mm-hmm. And the more you practice the jump shots like this, the easier those will be, and so the more you'll be able to apply those in matches. So that's obviously at the very beginning, doing drills like this where you're just getting your reticle where you want it to go without overshooting. Those can still be useful for getting a sense of control over the reticle and getting to where you're aiming it where you want to go. But when you're actually hitting dummies, when you're actually going to take shots at them, take shots that you're actually going to take in game. So instead of, which is very unrealistic to ever get, you want to put yourself in as close to the real game conditions as you can, which means you're going to want to be moving.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm starting to see that now after watching my own VOD and, after this as well, so. It gives me a couple things a couple big things I need to really try to work on.
And also, snapping like this, practicing releasing at just the right time to hit that target, is a way that you can get really good at stuff like, this, where you're popping around from behind a wall, which I am obviously not great at. Or what you can even do is make an opponent, let's say you're aiming at this guy, which I need to be closer to do. Let's say you're aiming at that guy. If you aim over here and make them think that they have an opening, and then all of a sudden you snap to them, and you snap to them, and you get the idea.
And you snap to them.
Then being able to hit that shot makes you able to kind of fake them out and bait them into aggression that they wouldn't have gone for if you were aiming directly at them. Makes them think they can stay out from behind cover, and then nope, no you can't.
I need to work through why I'm not doing it. I'm not doing these things in this game, but other games I'm kind of disciplined where I will pull, I'll kite people back or bait aggression. That's just a big thing in a lot of other games, but I'm not doing it here, and I don't know why.
Oh, that's a double. That was sick. I didn't even know that was going to happen. It only took me five attempts, but I think someone's at my door. Give me just a second.
Yeah, sure. Jen snapped to him.
I don't know. There's nobody out there, so I'm blaming the cat.
The cat snapped to him.
So, anyway. All right. So that's some stuff on the mechanical side to be working on. Oh, about jump shotting over ledges and stuff, right? That's actually the way that Ice tends to use this charger when he does. Ice being best backliner in North America. I don't know how well you know those players, but
I'm a little familiar.
Okay.
Not crazy, but
Yeah. For
Um,
Starburst. But so what he'll do with this thing is he'll take it to specifically Inkblot and use it to control the enemy Plat by putting shots up over the top of Plat from mid, where he's relatively safe.
gotcha.
And so like that's
I
something
haven't
you can
tried
use the
that
jump
on that
shots
map
for.
actually, because I've heard that mentioned, but it's just it never crosses my mind to even like go to recon. I'm just gonna do that now. Sure.
Okay. And so that's one very specific use case for it, but it's also important to remember, like, not to, this is where you're going to develop habits, right? Doing this stuff in the training room. So make sure that, like, if you need to stay grounded, you are, also practicing just walking shots.
Right.
Those are still valuable. Practice, like, all of the movements so that none of it becomes so much of a habit that that's all you do.
Yeah, like the jumping. So I'm pretty sure that's where I'm at with that. Are there... This is kind of off topic a little bit. Are there any other, like, Squiffer players, I guess? I hate to ask for, like, someone who mains the weapon, but...
Leotos. Leotos is a very high-level player, although my understanding is that he's been playing a lot of Wiper lately.
Yeah, that seems to be the trend. Like, no one's really playing it, but I'm still at the stage where, like, I'm playing what's fun.
Yep.
And maybe sort of seeing the wall that can, put up in front of you. But anyways, I'm obviously
if
not
this
there
weapon
yet.
gets like Zipcaster, like that's gonna be extremely fun. That's gonna be the trick shot weapon.
I will be all over that. Like, I've been thinking about that just a little bit, and it sounds just so fun to use.
There was a version that had Inkjet, which was also sick in Splatoon 2. So,
Yeah.
with new kits, I could definitely see this, seeing at least more use, if not top-level use.
Yeah, in Splatoon 2, I was pure backline in Splatoon 2, so that's kind of why I'm, trying to break out of my comfort zone a little bit and play something else, I guess. But it's rough. There's just a whole other set of habits or thought processes you have to be going into, and it's so much more overwhelming when you're just in the thick of it.
For sure. So that's part
I
of
guess
why,
that'll just
like,
be the
isolating it in a more calm environment can help you bring it into other games, because once you start making it muscle memory, you're not having to think about it as much.
Yeah. I guess it kind of keeps you from... I mean, if you have a good default, sure, but it keeps you from falling back on some of the worst habits you've already gotten into, and then until you can break those, then... Anyways.
Alright. Do you have any other questions for me?
Honestly, I don't think so. I think I've gotten a lot of good stuff to sort of think about and
Awesome.
try and work towards.
Glad to hear it. Best of luck in learning to squiff. And
Thank you very much.
Keep on hitting those 6 shots, because this weapon's pretty underrepresented and it could use some love.
It's so much fun. I would say more people should try it, but it's a unique thing.
I definitely think, like, there's a lot of strength to just picking a weapon that you find to be more fun, because then you're gonna learn that weapon really well because you have fun playing it, instead of feeling like it's a chore to play, but you have to because it's what you win with.
Yeah, I'm slightly torn. Just slightly. Like, it doesn't keep me from playing Squiffer, but, like, the whole reason for me playing Zimmy tonight was, like, that. It's like, Squiffer can be hard to be consistent just from a mechanical perspective, so... But, anyways, I'll keep on squiffing.
Alright.
Keep on teaching.
Keep on squiffing in the new world. Or in the free world? Is that what it is? Yeah, it's in the free world.
Yeah. You keep
All
on
right.
teaching, I'll keep on squiffing.
Sounds good. Thank you
All
so
right.
much. You have a good night.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks, Jem.
All right. So that will do it for our VOD reviews tonight. It's been a little while since I've streamed, so I feel like a little bit of Q&A, a little bit of hanging out's in order. Oh my god, my back is so sore. I went running for the first time in a while recently, and then also drove for like 6 hours yesterday. So I'm just like, oh, everything feels good because I'm stretching any way I move. How would one graduate from Squid School? I don't know. I don't have diplomas or anything. We used to have a thing where like we would give people like a sort of high school diploma sort of thing when they hit X rank in Splatoon 2. I think someone made like a template for it. And I didn't actually supervise this. This was just something that the community ended up doing. But also, X rank is not the same in this game. Like, X rank in this game is, congratulations, you hit S+0. Whereas in Splatoon 2, it was, you have grinded from S+0 to S+1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all of which were actually harder than the last. You cannot say so much about the series system. So, it's definitely a much more elite group that were able to make it into X rank in Splatoon 2 than can in Splatoon 3, unfortunately. I say unfortunately because I think that at the top level, it is really important for those players to be, you know, in order for the practice to be worth it for them, they need to be with players who are near their skill level. So they're not developing bad habits, they're not getting away with stuff that they shouldn't, and they don't kind of get that. Even in Splatoon 2, they didn't get that super well, but in Splatoon 3, it's worse. Can't wait until quad fridge comps take over the meta? How about 2K power or something? 2K was like the baseline for being able to hit X rank in Splatoon 2. I look at it at about the same level here. That's like you're barely more than S+9 at that sort of thought in Splatoon 2. At that sort of mindset. Splatfest team am I choosing? I'm choosing Team Sweet. Thanks for streaming. No pressure, but you know when we can expect the Clamblets. I don't know which one I'm going to do first. So for the Clamblets one, there's an old Splatoon 2 video I made that goes into a lot of the concepts that I would cover there. And I also have a Rainmaker guide. So my thought was actually to make Splat Zones first, and then go from there. Because I already have so much content out about specifically Clamblets and specifically Rainmaker. Like, the Rainmaker guide from Splatoon 2 and the video called You're Pushing Wrong in Clamblets. Those are both Splatoon 2 videos, but almost everything applies into Splatoon 3. There's very little that's any different. So those two feel a little bit more redundant. And I would probably do Splat Zones next. But I am finally finished with one of the projects that I was doing behind the scenes that was taking up my time from making those, and I'm going to be able to get back into those again, which I'm looking forward to, because it's been a minute, and I have wanted to get those back out. Cuttlefish Education, Octopus College, Fish Learning. School of Fish? Okay. The thing is, these maps suck, but I'm good at them. I was looking at my win rate recently, and I was like, man, why am I so good at Mincemeat? Why am I so good at Hammerhead? Why am I so good at Eeltail? Like, these maps are horrible, and I don't like playing them, but I have massive, like, win rate discrepancies. I'm in, like, the 80% the 70% win rate kind of territory on those maps specifically. It's gross. Where can I find Gem's shooter gameplay outside these streams? In tournaments? Go in and play against me. I play for a team called Cold Coral. We're Division 4 in Ludi. Told me not to play mincemeat. I'm not saying... I can talk about whether a map is bad, but I'm not going to talk about whether you should play it or not, because at a certain point you're probably going to have to play it. So, might as well get used to it even if you don't like it. We've got Trey Guy here. Trey Guy has been a viewer in the past. I might want to do a little bit more stretching my wrists. It's not great with my left wrist right now. Drop down there. Ooh, okay, that's a forge, I think. And that's still here, right? Good deal. And I can check that because I have the wall. With any other shooter, I'm just not even looking there, not risking it. Okay. Go get him. Oh, that's a crowd. Probably should have recognized that a little bit earlier. You can't get the let them get too far up here. Okay, that crab is not too far up. Oh, that's a hydra. That's not a crab. I can just get this in. Probably even survive. Yeah. Nice. I'm not going to push this too hard because of that player spawning in. I do need to protect this jump. I hit him twice, but I think he healed up in between, or maybe one of them was fall off or something. Looked like I hit him twice anyway. I'm not hearing audio cues super well. I should probably turn up the TV. But that was a good little push. If we can make that happen again, we win the game. I don't think they know. They do not. If I can find one more clam, I'd be super poggers. Throw me one, throw me one. Okay, here you go. Oh no! Okay. Yeah, a bit of a Canadian standoff there. There's someone going to be up top there, which I can't contest from here. They're probably going to try and crab from that location. So I need to be super careful about what I commit to here. You don't see me. You've actually moved up at this point. Ah, okay. They had a second player who I didn't see. They were able to catch me out. But at least we kept them further back, so we're probably going to be able to beat this player, right? We're going to be able to... Oh, no. Maybe we're not. I didn't do enough damage. I think some of those shots were actually missing. Just right at the edge of my range. Probably... I don't know where that landed. Threw that way up in the air. Hey, stop that. Thank you. Okay, we've stopped that player too. Teammates are doing really well. Like, I'm definitely playing well, but they're also holding it down, and so it's not been close so far. That's a really well-placed rain. That's really obnoxious for them. They couldn't move forward even though they had numbers advantage because of that rain. No. Oh, hi. Looks like they got shredded or something. Shot out of it. I don't feel comfy with them being up there. That's furthest player forward, yeah. I thought they were going to commit to moving forward, so I was running forward expecting the enemy team was going to focus on them, but then they just backed up, and so I was alone. So that's on me for not recognizing my teammate juking back. We can just check that with the wall. It's one of the huge advantages of this weapon. You can just make things safe for yourself sometimes. Beautiful. Make this safe for us. Well, okay, we're not going to make it safe for us. That's a little too much. Should have done that sooner than I did if I was going to go for it. At this point, I'm not even going to super jump in because I'm worried if we all go down that we give them a push, which we don't need to give them. I'm just going to keep it super... Okay, well... that's probably game, because that's their only clam, I think. Oh, no, they have a pity. Oh, but that's game, because I knock it out with the clams that I have. I expect a pretty good KD ratio on that game, but I'm expecting that some teammate of mine has a massive one. Like, I'm probably in the teens somewhere with, like, relatively low deaths, but my teammates are probably, like... Someone dropped a 20 bomb, I think. GG, Trey Guy. What do you feel about Flingza? Very strong weapon. Probably third best in the game. Behind Splash and Machine. It gets missiles fast, it keeps its space well. Okay, yeah, 18 and 3. I thought something like that was happening. Oh, someone wants an ink brush match. I've already matched up for another one, so I'll stick on this for now. I'd argue ink brush is third best. Fiending for the ink brush content. Oh, well, guess not. I've been pinged somewhere. I'm gonna go and check to see that that's something I need to focus on right that second. Yeah, okay. Do people overrate the gals? Nobody's overrating 96, because 96 is not that great. 52... We're not seeing a ton of it at top-level play. We were early on in the game's lifespan, but I feel like I have a stronger opinion of the 52 gal in particular than most people do. Been trying your advice for complimenting your opponent, found that it actually helps. Awesome! I'm glad you're having more fun playing Squid Game with that. Okay. Tower control, hagglefish, and what? Well, I'm playing a brush game, so we're going right back to Clam Blitz. Clam Blitz Eel Tail too. If anyone is overrating the 52 gal, it's me. Is a safe statement. But I've had a lot of success on it lately. It's probably at a point where it's stronger than my splatter shot against meta compositions at the moment. How fast can you mash? I mean, I can mash a lot more than I am. I'm mainly doing this just to preserve my fingers. Do people not like 52 because it's a two-shot? Two-shot is amazing. Two-shot is so insanely good for a shooter weapon. Alright. Let's get annoying with it. Nobody's gonna see this coming. Not even the guy who's gonna get splatted by it. Oh wait, that's gonna be an anyway. That's wrong. Okay. Well, they saw me after it came, and the problem was that when it came, it didn't do anything. That's my my top tier analysis on that particular situation. You are stuck with me. Hello. Hello, friends. Fluffy material. Oh no. Explo had a really good angle on me. There wasn't much I could do. We're really split right now. Okay, we made it. Let's see if we can't get anything going over here. I hope I'm not taking too long to get in. Alright. Let's see if we can get in there and get Power Clam. Nope. We're making a lot of pushes without getting clams first. And I guess it's because they're trying to follow up on what I'm doing. Which is not what I would prefer. I would prefer that while I'm being distracting, getting a pick here or there, that if somebody's going to push up with me, it's because they've already got the clams and they're ready to go on a push. Bombs are just to keep them forced back. Ends up getting one of them anyway. Beautiful. And there's only one player left who I'm going to dive. We back out of that because even though there was a jump to camp, I would have been splatted by the Forge if I'd stayed. Alright, let's go. We got 2 down. Oh. I picked a bad time to stop brushing there. I didn't even recognize there was a booyah in the air. Okay, this should be able to get us in. We've got 2 down. There's a booyah bomb thrown. Like, let's get this guy in. I cannot believe I did not do enough damage. That's annoying. We'll jump into this, though. There's a big bubbler there. I'm probably safe, right? Right? Hi. I thought I hit 4. I guess I didn't. Hitboxes aren't the most consistent things. They actually alternate back and forth. Tip for if somebody's scrambling to get power clams like that, just throw a bomb on the power clam. Easy picks every time. Not every time. Some players are immune to that trick. I don't know where they ended up. Where's that player? Ah! Okay, please. Please vacate the premises. Okay, nice. I like that the slosher's getting up there and, like, spotting where the Explo is and dealing with him. I did the brush thing. Alright, they're on our side here. We need to be careful about a potential jump push or just them pushing straight up. That didn't displace me, but they're going to be able to come after me with that. That's heavy damage on them, but the Explo didn't attack me, so I have free shots on the Reef Slider. Okay, nice. The brush thing is holding the brush down and just running a power clam to the enemy basket. That's what you will see people do up until a certain level of skill, at which point they will be absolutely annihilated for doing it. It's the optimal play until people learn how to counter it, at which point it becomes throwing. More brush VOD reviews? I mean, if you want one, you know where to find me. How did that person jump in and immediately reef slider? There's nothing with beacon reef slider, so I can't really show it off, but I don't actually know what the recovery frames are on the super jump. I imagine they're just landing and triggering it as soon as possible, and that's how fast it comes out. Because, like, in Splatoon 2, for example, you could actually activate Baller while you were in midair before you landed from the super jump, to a certain degree. There was a window where you could start it up in the air, similar to how you can do that with... Oh, I can show this with... Where's... What has beacons? Hold on. Oh, right, I used to do this with the big bubbler. So I want the... I want this weapon. So, if I put this up, and I super jump to it, I'm going to mash this ZR button, and you can see I'm actually readying a flick as I fall. And so there are a number of animations like that, like the blaster shot, the roller shot, that out of a super jump you can actually be prepping before it lands. And maybe Reef Slider is one of those. Stealth jump disables that. I have stealth jump on. I don't know that... I didn't play S1, but I've never heard of that being an effect that it had. That's why they removed Splashdown from one ago. Splashdown was really weak. Was probably the reason it was removed. And they unfortunately ended up replacing it with Reef Slider, which people are now saying is worse. Having tried playing with it, I might agree. Please expose yourself so I can get on top of you. Thank you. And there's you. Okay. Very successful shark. There is someone who's coming through this way. Got them. Let's go move up, team. We've got plenty of space to work with. We just need to not get sniped. And we got sniped. And there's nobody defending the tower. Oh my god, I'm missing way too many. I should have just moved. Because one of the things about the 52 is that the longer you hold fire on it, the worse the accuracy gets, and its accuracy is awful. So you always want to be resetting it after a couple of shots, after the amount of time it takes to do lethal damage. Alright, we got it eventually. And that gives us numbers advantage going into mid. We just need to get pushed up in front of it. There you are. Why do we not have tower? Everybody else is dead. Yeah, well. I didn't think the torpedo was going to hit me. I thought I could just dodge it in its damage. Get to that in a second. The screens are in a way where I can't read it. That's just gonna get thrown at... Oh no, it's gonna get thrown at them. Oh boy. They took a little too long on that shot. They probably had me at a certain point in it. Oh my goodness, what? Oh, was that a... Are those gift memberships? Is that what's happening? I bet that's what's happening. There's 4. Oh, hello. Got him. Okay, sounds like a... Nope, no, never mind, never mind. That's 5. Okay, now I can take a look. It's Ram! Thank you so much, Ram. Ram with 10 gifted memberships on YouTube. They're like Twitch subs, but they're red now. Instead of purple. Go away. That's my friend. Man. I feel like we had a lot of space there, but we probably just didn't have the numbers to follow it up. Vimo. 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 Thanks in the chat for Ram. He's been a long-time supporter of the channel, and much appreciate them. Enemy team has a DC. So, holding in the last 45 seconds here should be not that challenging. I will use the tower to get over here because it looks like there is someone who's going to challenge from there. There we go. Be able to get a trade, and a trade works because we have a numbers advantage. So that actually goes in our favor rather than just being even. Not that a trade usually is even. Most of the time, there is a team that benefits more from that trade than the other. Alright. The E-leader was able to get me, but the E-leader was not able to get on tower. So... What's the capital of the United States of America? It's DC. I just think about the BitConnect guy. You know, BitConnect being like, disconnect! And that makes me happy. Alright, let's get this totally legitimate series. Here's the thing, though. Whenever you win 2 X battles in a row on a, you know... well, I guess all of them are series. If you ever win 2 X battles in a row and don't have any losses, the next match is one of the hardest matches you've ever played in your life. It's usually how it goes. This is gonna take some effort, probably. Why, hello there, kitty cat. Thank you for coming and saying hi to the people. I will now hug you. But now I must play the video game. If you must stay in my lap, then you must. Yeah, okay, Burb is on the other team. I believe that is Burbdon? Burbdon TV? Maybe? Or maybe it's just Burb. I don't know. They have double backline. Oh, so do we. We have the same exact backline. Pretty similar comps, except it's me versus a junior. Yeah, I'm not challenging that. No, thank you. I'm getting my whale. Rather not challenge that directly. Maybe from here? Can I hit these? Oh, that was actually super close. Hi, hello there. Okay. We'll send that back, but then we will not stick around on it because of this. Now split them up a little bit. Not have a lot of forward pressure, and it's probably because there's a crab on the tower, huh? Makes some sense. I probably should have gotten sniped through that. That will get that player, because I hit one shot. My teammate was able to follow up. I'll get there eventually. And when I do, oh buddy, you're in for it. Oh, come on. Should have hit this by now. Darn. Probably could have gotten away if I had hit shots sooner. We do have one down, so this is overall a good situation for us. Let's just not get hit by that shot. Beautiful. And now we can just completely take control of this side. All there is this guy, and then the rest is up for the taking. Chargers going out this way, and we're going to keep them away from the tower as much as we possibly can. This is fine even if I go down, because tower is going to get lead. Beautiful. Oh, we can set up really hard now. Nice. It's going so well. We want to keep the pressure up. We get one down. This is a winning push. Oh, man. This is so good. Just got to keep the momentum up. That's game. Nice! 3-0. Yeah, cat cam is something that I am working on. The issue right now, because currently, in theory, I probably have enough money to go and get the camera that I want to get for it. But we're about to enter a period where... How much is it? 50? Okay, I'll take 50. That's not bad. We're about to enter a period where marketing budgets are shrinking. And so there's a lot less ad revenue to be had on YouTube. And I want to make sure that I can weather the first few months of that. Because typically on YouTube, CPM grows as the year goes on and like peaks at Christmas. So I'm just making sure that I'm going to be solvent through the first couple of months while that's decreasing. I want to make sure that I've got at least an upward trend before I make a big purchase like that. So it's coming probably in the next couple of months or so. It'll be kind of a late Christmas present for myself or something. Cats per minute. It's short for cost per thousand. Why is it with an M? Because of the silly metric system. I guess, I don't know. Because a millimeter is a thousandth of a meter. So. But it's basically like how much you're going to get for the amount that you're getting. Can blame Latin for the M, yeah. Alright, first time we got Hagglefish so far. What if I just... Oh, wait, no, this is the place where you don't have the box there. I like the box. The box lets you flank a little bit easier. Here you can push further in, but you need to pretty hard commit to being there if you're going to go for it. There we go, we got it. Alright. Beautiful. Thank you, teammate, for following up on that. That gets us control of the right-hand side for a short while before we promptly lose it again. Oh, I saw someone over there. I saw someone moving. Maybe it was just an ink splat. I'm waiting for someone to drop in from the left. Alright. I'll take the tower. Save the tower from the crab tank aggro for a second, but it looks like things went bad on the other side in the meantime. I probably could have had slightly more of an impact on the right-hand side before I popped the whale. Probably would have been ideal. We'll keep playing the sides here. It seems to be working for now. Where is everybody? Yeah, a little more on the left-hand side. Put some paint over there, put some paint over here. Just make sure that our bases are covered. Beautiful. Alright, now why are we not on tower? Okay. I would really like to push up. I would really like to not have to be on the tower myself. Maybe a little bit early on the whale. Nobody's on. I'm worried about the E-leader here, though. Push me, push me. There we go. Thank you. And you just cannot be there right now. Oh my goodness. We're doing so much and getting like so much control, but then nobody ever actually gets on tower. So we're losing a lot of the potential progress. There's a crab up there. So we're just going to let them run that out for a second. That is shredded. It's out of there. Those shots there. Keep myself safe in the corner here if I need to. Watch everything else. Ugh, I didn't want to get hit a second time. This is painful. Well, my teammate died for my sins. One on the right here. Nice! Oh, there's another one. Shoot, I should have kept... Well, I wouldn't have time to get there. Hello? Nice! Oh, man, that was a great call. Let's go. We got, like, multiple of them bottled up in their own base. What's the holdup here? We could have been on tower that whole time. We had 2 down. Oh, man. Maybe we're having trouble dealing with, like, the T-Tech, and the T-Tech is just, like, blitzing past me the whole time. Yeah, that's what's happening. Man. Feels like we could have gotten more out of any of this. It's hard to push back in against, but try and drop out right and move with the rest of the team. You can stay there if you want, I guess. Have fun with that. Hello? Man, I needed to hit more shots. Wait, I got them? That was so laggy. Oh, it was probably the whale rotating back to hit them as they were attacking my teammate there. Man, this has been frustrating. I feel like I've been slaying really well this game, and we have nothing to show for it. Oh. Got them. Weak on this side, but I don't think they're going to notice. Okay, they did notice. Nice, and they can just kind of... Oh, we need to be on tower in 5 seconds. Okay, that's good. I'm expecting a really high KA for me here. Any tips on keeping track of people when a lot of stuff is happening at once? I find I've been losing my opponents when we're in an intense fight. I know they're in front of me, but I straight up can't see them. It means that as you get better at the game, you're going to filter more and more. You're going to filter stuff that isn't as important. You're going to spot things, you know, in the single frame that they were visible because you were looking for them. You'll get better at seeing the game as time goes on. But I think the most important thing is to look at, like, what is the most immediate threat? And how do I deal with that the best? Can Splatlings take tower? I mean, absolutely. It's not a bad thing for them to do at all. Typically what you'll see Devi do is she will communicate with her support player who's going to take the tower when. Because sometimes it's advantageous for you to have, sometimes you would prefer to be helping your team from a distance if, you know, you have the option to choose between those two. So this is like, you're setting up for an offensive push after having won a fight pretty convincingly. I can probably take that out. Nope, I can't. Good job on my teammate there. A Splat-A-Lot player. Splat-A-Lot has, like, I don't know, 8 different teams or something. They're a clan. And they all start with a different letter. So there's Splat-A-Lot A, which is Splat-A-Lot Aphelion. There's Splat-A-Lot I, which I think they call Splat-A-Lot Imbeciles. But they're all based on that same convention. So you can spot their tags when you're playing against a player like that in solo queue. Hi there. Please go away. Where's the Hydra? Probably glass. It's usually the safest bet. Wait, okay, there they are. Hydra's down. Tower's still moving. I'm not gonna get baited by shooting at that. Should be a little bit closer in, but I can probably get that pick from there. Yeah, that's... Oh no, we got a DC. Does that count? I think this is gonna count. This is gonna be hard to hold on to, but we'll do our best. Well, we got something out of it, but well, this is risky, but I bet they won't know that I am here and see them. You know, we've honestly got a shot. I don't know what happened to them. Lower at tower, okay. Back them over here and hope that they don't push forward. Yeah, they did. Someone's gonna get on tower. It's gonna be an easy shot. There we go. This is a part where I might need to jump away. No, I've got enough space. Nice, that's 3 down. Beautiful. Ah, they saw it coming. Rip. Alright. 145. We gotta hold for. I wanna go down to the Hydra here. There's one. Beautiful. Let's go. Alright, that's one hold. Hydra's already up, so we want to take precautions. Hello? Hello? Nope. You do not get to escape there. Wow, we actually got another checkpoint after the DC. I am so impressed with how this team has been handling this so far. Careful, their ice cape. Oh, they might not know, though. They do not know. They don't. They don't know. Let's go. What a game. We can snag someone here. Oh no, I got too close. Oh, that's a whoops. Get out of their team. Oh no, this is the worst time to go down. Get momentum here. Nice! Oh my goodness. What a good game. The fourth player was chat. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Why, hello there, cat. How would you like to come and say hi to the people again? Look at how appealing it would be to be up in my lap, where I can show you to my followers. Come on, buddy. You know you want to. Oh, I know what'll get him. I know what'll get him. Here. We'll put this sweater on my lap because he loves lying on this thing. Come on up. Look how comfy. Oh, I think I got him. There he is. There's the boy. He's in the lap now. How much of this can you guys see? I know you can see his tail. Okay. That's most of him. You can see his butt. I'm trying to... Okay, I can't really reach the camera without disturbing him. So this may be about as much of him as I'm able to show. The lad has been located. Yes. Chat was the fourth player and Romeo was the fifth. Any cat cam progress? I answered that earlier. I theoretically have enough to do it, to buy it right now. I just need to make sure that I'm going to have... I'm going to be solvent for the next few months, because the next few months are going to be rougher than they have been so far. Where do I donate for cat cam? There's an option on YouTube, I believe, to make donations. On Twitch, I think I have a button or something that might link you somewhere. No, wait, no, that's on my other profile. Never mind. There are also gift memberships, which, you know, that's still paying for a membership, so that goes towards me. There's a few options. There's also the Patreon. If you want a lesson on top of it, you can support me on Medify. Here, I'll just post a bunch of links and whatever poor financial decisions you would like to make. That's available for you there. Man, I don't know. I feel like I like petting the cat. This is a nice thing. This is nice. Like, what is this Squid game that we have here? What am I doing in this? Not petting the cat with my other hand is what? How dare. Right there. People are watching you, or, well, your tail, mostly. And they very much like you. Optimistic Seaside Superfan. Optimistic is a good one to have. You should review a gem game. I do that from time to time. A lot of the time it'll just be like, okay, I want to see what happened that went wrong there, or what was it that's, you know, I usually have a question going into it, something that I want answered about what happened. Oh, hey, I actually have this shirt IRL, so I'm kind of obligated to get that, but I want to see what else is available. Would I have enough? Yes, I would. I can get both of those. That would be a nice one to get to, if I can get the money for it. Oh, man, and I want that. Okay. So I need 10,000 plus 30,000. I need 40,000 more to get everything I want out of this shop. Oops, not that. $97. That's all I'm left with. There's not a lot in this game. Alright, well... I think I will probably close on that, because there's a cat in my lap and it feels wrong to disturb him by playing the video game. So, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to raid out. And we will raid out. Oh, we've got a bunch of different possibilities here. Let's go and say hi to Rafa. It's been a minute. Rafa is a really, really strong blaster player, known for Luna Blaster. Was it like 2600 X power or something in Splatoon 2? So very experienced player, good player to kind of watch to get the hang of the game. And also has a fun stream. So let's go and say schools out in Rafa's chat. Thanks everybody for watching, and I've already posted my links a whole bunch, but if there's any social media that you are interested in finding me on that you haven't seen me on before, give Romeo a little kiss on his dumb little head. Will do. There it is. There's those links too. Have a good one, everybody. Oh, and thank you so much right before we leave, Terry Fan, for the membership. That's very kind of you.